we're realizing we were never meant to live like this. On the clock, on a schedule. Our mindset is shifting. Our intuition is being activated. And just breathe. We're opening up to other ways. We are going within for our answers of rest and peace. We are finding joy. So open up and let's revolutionize your mindset.
Welcome to the Intuitive Shift Podcast. I'm Abby Lynn, your host. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here we sit down with people who have trusted their intuition, shifted their mindset, and have chosen an empowered path towards self-discovery and soul growth. And today we welcome Chasity Munoz. I am so excited to have her on the show. She recently started, and I have been following Unveiling Addiction. And I love the podcast. I love your mission, Chasity. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here. I'm always looking forward to a conversation with you, Miss Abby. I enjoyed our little conversation before we started recording, so thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. We were just joking. I should probably just start recording like the green room conversation before we jump on, because it's always really interesting. But I wanted to bring you, addiction is, there's addiction therapists. There are people like that are handling addiction, running addiction therapies all over the world. But what I love that you brought into this was you opened up and awakened your intuition and like going within and listening to the body. And that's what helped you to begin tackling your own addictions within your body. And then when we can always turn that in order to help others, it's always like bang and game. But can you just take us down? I would love to know how your intuition came on, how you learned to trust it, and then how you shifted with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm honored to do that. So I went through a lot of really hardcore, it was a lot of trauma, and I experienced a walk-in, and that walk-in, I had lost my daughter. I had went through chemotherapy. Then I was fighting for her custody, driving to Dallas once a week. The amount of trauma that I was going through was just, without that walk-in, I don't know if I could have made it. Especially dealing with what I'm dealing with now. When that happened, go ahead.
I'm going to have to interrupt you.
I love it. Please.
So for the people listening, some of them don't know what a walk-in is. Can you explain to me?
Okay, I can do the best from my understanding. What's that?
We're doing a high-level explanation of a walk-in.
Okay, so from my understanding, it's a contract between two souls that I had a soul kind of come in, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like that other soul is still very much there, but this one's a very feisty one. And she really, really is. She cracks me up all the time. Like when I'm in meditation, she comes through and will say some just funny things. She's feisty, but a soul that agrees to kind of come through and help a person or another soul get through the rest of their journey. That's my understanding of it. I don't really have the exact details, like what it is. I just kind of know that's what I know that's what I experienced, because everything shifted in a way, the way that I looked at things, my appreciation for life. When I really knew that everything shifted for me was, number one, I stopped taking all the medications that I was on for years and years. And I had so many, car wrecks, car fires, a bunch of different things that happened that you would think a person would stop their chaos and stop the prescription meds or whatever. But it wasn't like that for me. I just woke up one day and thought, and something was like, what are you doing? You're taking all these medications. Like, what are you doing? Feeling compelled to take my breast implants out, feeling compelled to start cleaning up my act and cleaning up my temple. And when I really knew something weird was going on was when, and I've told this story before, was when a bug was crawling across my floor, and I went to go smush it with my foot, and something was like, no, stop. And I was like, what? Like, I was so confused. I so then I proceed to grab a box, and I was just gonna, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just so confused, and I didn't want to like be a murderer. So I guess I grabbed a box and was gonna like drop the box on the bug, and it'd be like, you know, bug slaughter or whatever. Like it was, I don't know what I was thinking. I was so confused. But that's when I was like, okay, what is going on here? This is so interesting. And then I started coming across people like Sherry Divband. Sherry helped me out tremendously. I mean, that's where I heard about a walk-in. That's hearing her. I binged all of her content, and it really helped me in such a significant way to understand, oh my gosh, I'm here for a reason. She's speaking, I am a starseed. I am here for this. This is speaking so true to me. And so I just went on this long healing journey, and I began to meditate. But when I started meditating regular, like every single day, so I managed to come off of all of the meds, okay? But there was one that I was still stuck on, Suboxone, the very drug that I talk about and advocate for, because there are millions of people stuck on it today that are, they can't, it's hard. It is very hard to come off of. I've been through a lot, and that was one of the hardest things I'm still, right now I sit here and I'm still have a little bit of withdrawal symptoms. And this happened in February. I got off of it in February.
What is Suboxone? What does that do? What does it use?
So there was a big opioid epidemic because big pharma, they were pushing, you know, pain pills. Most people who have an opioid dependence, you know, OUD, it's opioid use disorder, right? It's from the pain pills that were prescribed from doctors' offices. My addiction did not start. Yes, I used, and I would try to mask my feelings, but my addiction did not start until it started in a doctor's office, like most people. That's where the addiction started. Yes, like I said, I was trying to get out of my mind for years and years and years, but this addiction started in a doctor's office. So circling back to what is Suboxone, people, when you take pain pills for a certain amount of time and you come off of them, your body goes through a withdrawal. You know, it's kind of like a flu symptom, and sometimes it could be very unbearable. And so, you know, leave it to them to, I'm trying to be careful with what I say here, but leave it to them to find a solution for this problem, which is called Suboxone. And I've had people, I've spoke to so many people with this. I've had people tell me that they had a harder time coming off of coming off of Suboxone versus heroin. Okay. They've had a harder time. Suboxone is harder to come off of than any of this other stuff. They're just creating more and more problems. Anyway, I get really triggered when I talk about it because there are just so many people fighting, and something that I still fight today. But when I came off of Ambien, Adderall, Xanax, and Suboxone, all of those. And this isn't something that just happened overnight, Abby. This took me years, because, you know, I did this for quite some time. And because I went through chemotherapy, and because I went through the cancer and all that, it was a legitimate reason to give me all these meds, right? And I used that in my favor. Unfortunately, that's just where I was. You know, I was so broken and so beat down. But I managed to quit everything except for the Suboxone. But let me just tell you, when I started meditating every single day, I put an hour aside every single day. I strengthened up my intuition. I strengthened up that connection to myself. And I was intuitively guided I just started breaking down this. It took me a year. Actually, now I'm a year and 8 months to completely liberate myself from this drug, because I was intuitively guided to start breaking it down, like take it in the morning. My intuition guided me through this process on what to do and how to come off of it. And I can sit here today and tell you, I get emotional, after 20 years or 15 plus years of being on opiates and being on whatever, I am free and clear of all of it. I am free and clear of all of it. But you're
living proof. You are living proof that the body can come back.
Yeah.
The body can heal. I would love to know, in your words, because I think people hear the word intuition all the time. Like, it's just this word that we always hear. What does intuition mean to you?
I feel like it's listening to my heart. Really kind of, it's listening to my heart, staying out of my head and listening to my heart. And that can be, with all the interference and everything, that can be challenging. It really can. You can get it mixed up. You really can. But, meditating has helped me tremendously with that.
Yeah. All of these addictions, those are all, it's the body is dealing with them. The mind caused the need to have the addiction, but then the body is dealing with the addiction. Mm-hmm. And part of intuition and, what I teach is you have to learn to trust your body again.
Yeah.
So how do you feel? Because sometimes, in some of my own readings, I'll get this. Well, people especially people who have been abused, they don't trust their body, right? They don't like their body. It's been abused.
Yeah.
So what have you seen in your podcast? What is some of the best advice for addicts to begin to trust the body again?
That's such a good question. Strengthening their intuition. That's something that it's for the longest time, I was at first when all this started, and that there was a TikTok that went viral that was about Suboxone. And that's when I was like, okay, this went viral very quickly. And so there's something, I knew there was something to it, but there was something far more to it than I realized. And for a while there, I was making videos on what I did to come off of it. And it took me a little time to understand that what I did is not going to be what somebody else is going to do, because it depends on how long have you been on it? What were you prescribed it for? How much are you on? So it took me a little time to understand that posting my process was not going to help the next person. So then I started posting the fact that if you strengthen up your intuition, and whatever meditating, go for a walk. It doesn't have to be the cliche way of meditating. You can go for a walk, you can go garden, you can cook, whatever it is, without the stimulation, just being with yourself. Mm-hmm. Your intuition, if you strengthen that up, will guide you. It will guide you and it will tell you what to do. You just have to strengthen that. You really have to strengthen that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a muscle in the body, just like any other muscle that we have. People go to the gym every day to train up, to strengthen those, and then they can see the benefits of working with it. And intuition is a muscle that the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Mm-hmm. And there's a level of trust within that as well.
Right. So I actually have a question. It's not, so I'm talking to you about being free and clear of everything, Abby. And I thought maybe I could bring this up to you while we're on the show. It's interesting to be in this state, because for these 5 years or 4 or 5 years of healing, I've been to myself. I have not really gotten out. I've been I just really went within. My friends that I used to hang out with, I love them all, but they live a different lifestyle than I do. And I don't care to do the things that they want to do. And I don't have any judgment. I'm just in a different place in my life. So I'm so glad that I met everybody in the community, because I have been so isolated for so long. But I notice, I've been trying to get myself back out again, and the amount of anxiety that I am riddled with is just unreal, and I don't know what that is, and I don't know how to navigate that. So last Friday, I took myself dancing. I had a drink just to kind of loosen up, no big deal, but I don't like the way that alcohol makes me feel. Even if it's just one drink, I'm literally just doing it to calm my flipping nerves, and I don't know, I wondered if maybe you wouldn't have, being in my true self is a very interesting place to be sober. I'm just being honest. I've never had more love and compassion for that version of me that stayed medicated, because my goodness, for me personally, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but for me personally, it's a lot, and I'm learning how to navigate it. I went on Saturday with this group of sober friends, and it took about 2 hours for me to be able to finally calm myself down and not be so riddled with anxiety. And I don't know, thought maybe you may have some good advice for that.
So when I first started opening up my own tuition, and working with this, especially because when we're building our intuition, your frequencies of your body naturally begins to accelerate, right? Your frequency goes higher, and your level of empathy then also goes higher, because when we are vibrating, our energy field is literally, it's emanating out wider. And so we begin to feel more of the people around us. And so when I was first starting to getting into this, I noticed, oh, if I were to go to a place where, I used to with my husband or with a group of friends, I was getting more anxiety. It was affecting me. I was feeling all these things. Like my gut would hurt. I would feel icky. I'm like, I just want to go home. I just need to go home. And it's also part of intuition. So, when we use that word psychic, I don't really like to use that word because it's just been so, it just, ugh, right? Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So, but we'll use it for this stance. Psychic is just intuition, and that is opening up all of your senses, all your clairs, like in the medium word, right? It's just clear. It's like clear knowing, clear hearing, clear seeing, clear feeling, clear tasting. All right. So these are all the ways that we can connect with another person. We can connect with other energies. And so, but that is where we are using our intuition. We're using it all through our clairs. Like, what am I hearing, tasting, feeling, experiencing? And that is our intuition. That's how our body, like this master communicator that the body is, that's what it's doing. And so when our intuitive muscle becomes so strong that then when we go out and we're having all of this stimulation all around us, all of our clairs are like ding, 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 ding. We're like experiencing all of it. And so it's almost this, okay, I had that moment where like, I can't go anywhere. Like I can't do this because I'm not feeling well. My anxiety is really off. And so but then that's not real. That's not living either. And, and ultimately we all chose to come here and experience this life. Yes, we are like chugging. I'm doing this like train. We're chugging to higher dimensionality, but we're still living this 3D, 4. We're more guys, like we're honestly more vibing in 4D right now. I'm just going to be really honest. The vast majority are in 4D at the time. So I still need to be able to exist and go about. And so this is then when, when all of our antennas have strengthened and our signals going up, then we begin to work with shielding and grounding and then protecting our energy field. And that's very important when we go out. Like I put myself in this glass bubble and I go through my solar plexus. Like everything starts with the solar plexus, that chakra. This is where like protection, because, and the reason why I'm going to stand up, because you guys can't see what I'm doing, but like right here down at the base of like your lungs, like right here is where the solar plexus is. But that's also where our bodies, I call it like our crystalline energy source is right there, right? Our original toroidal field begins to spin right there, and when it comes out, and that creates our energy field. So when our solar plexus is nice and strong, and we put a lot of energy for strength and protection, and then I put this glass shield all around me because I still want to be able to see clearly. I want to be able to interact with people clearly, but I don't want to feel them all the time. So just imagine like ting, 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 like off of the glass, right?
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we begin to do that, but then it also comes down to, like, you saw a difference between hanging out on Friday and Saturday night. Saturday night, you were with more of like your sober friends. So it is important. I have shifted and changed the people that I hang around with, the people that I allow in, because I like to maintain that calmer state in my body. I don't like to be, having anxiety. There are moments where I have to have that. I just spent the weekend being around 2,000 people, at a big event. And
That's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. And, and I met someone new there, and, and I told them what I do for a living. And they said, oh, usually when I'm around those people, I can feel like their energy field is just like so strong. I can feel it. And she's like, I don't actually feel anything off your energy field. And I looked at her, I said, yeah, because I am on lockdown right now. I am like this. I go, I am not interested in feeling 2,000 people at this time.
Right.
Yeah.
I need help in that department then. So here's the next question for you. So I'm very much, I can't see. And I'm kind of maybe glad right now that I can't see because I can feel. And I know I'd probably freak me out if I could see, especially what I deal with over here. But where I'm going with that is my visualization, it is strengthening, right? And I think it'll strengthen the more time I put between myself and the meds that I was on, right? But if I'm not, so in the morning, I always make sure, because I meditate every morning, it's a must dealing, I have to. And so when I do that, I always make sure before I'm done meditating I just use my mind to like do a bubble, or what I think I'm doing is a bubble, but because I can't really see exactly, I'm just using it as if I'm doing it. So if I can't see, it's still there. Does that make sense? Like if I can't see it, but I know what I'm doing, is it still there?
Still there. It's still there. Absolutely.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. I have a very close colleague, and she's a very gifted medium, but she can't see.
Yeah.
Can't see spirit at all. And but she feels them. So her sense of tapping in with the emotion, that empathy is so strong. She can give the most evidential based mediumship reading. She's actually getting ready to do a platform in front of 200 people, but she can't see.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like, she can feel it. So it doesn't, I always tell, a lot of people that we have our most natural open clairs, right? That are always there. But then we can begin to work and build and grow the other ones there. And then it comes to this place where then they just all begin to blend in. And so then you're just getting this complete picture when you're working with, with spirit or other energies. So yeah, it's okay. It'll come. It'll come.
And last question. I know I'm sorry, I'm asking you. I just, you help me, and I appreciate the information that you hold. I really do. Oh geez. Now what was the last question? Now it just slipped. Sorry.
All right. I'm going to push back, and I'm going to ask you a question now. I'm going to kind of go back to the level of different opioids that people are on. There is it's a trending topic. And I have a few pharmaceutical friends that they are just really struggling remaining in the field, because just like you, your prescriber already knew the next thing to give you, right? Like so these pharmaceuticals, pharmacists that I know, they've broken it down so much to the point where when somebody gives them one prescription, they know exactly how many, it's dang near days that person is going to come back. They know exactly the following script that's coming. And, and they know, like, I'm seeing now the next 6 years of this person's life. They can write it out. They know the game, but there's this growing trend of so they're literally unsubscribing. But you need a pharmacist, because it's dangerous to just go cold turkey on some of these. You really, like you said, like, it took years to unwind this. I've known other people who have tried to go cold turkey and they've ended up in the ER. So, I mean, it can be done, but we need to unsubscribe. And so, like, because it is like the body, and we're going to go back to intuition, because when we can go into the body and listen to it, it'll let us know what it's needing. And, especially when you are trying to come off it, like, what am I feeling in my body? What is it needing right now? And then also trusting that at the same exact time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. When I was going through chemotherapy and now that I understand intuition and just like intuitive eating and things, I would eat like whole big things of cauliflower. I mean, I don't know what that was. Obviously my body needed it, but I would devour cauliflower. That's all I wanted when I was going through chemo. I would imagine that was just intuitive eating of sorts.
Yes, absolutely. for 3 months now, I have removed sugar and processed food, and also like just like breads, pastas, those sort of things. And the seed oils, I removed those as well.
That's tough. Yeah.
So I removed, and you know what? It actually was not hard to do at all. And
wow.
that's the biggest. This is really easy. I really upped my protein, which is, I mean, for me to say that, I went 4 years as a vegetarian.
Okay.
And now I'm primarily protein.
How are you?
Yeah. I mean, now, granted, I don't do red meat or pork, but that's just just for personal reasons. I don't like the taste of it. I never have. I've been doing that since I was a child. But my daughter had a sleepover and they wanted to have donuts the next morning. And, if I'm going to do that, I like to do local. There's this local woman and she bakes them and they're really good, but I haven't had one of those in like 4 months. And there's a lemon poppy seed one. And I'm like, maybe like just today, like I'll have it. I opened up the bag and I smelled it. My whole body went, no, like it just screamed at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just put it down. I'm like, nope. And I was starving. Like it was already like 11:30 noon and I was starving, but I'm like, nope, can't do it.
How long was that? You had been on this journey for how long before you got there? That's so interesting. I love it.
3 months. I've been doing this for 3 months. I mean, and I will say, I started it just to see if my gut felt better because I was tired of all the inflammation in the gut, and I've lost almost 20 pounds. I've dropped like 2 pant sizes. The
Wow.
inflammation's going away. My gut rarely ever, ever, ever hurts now. Yeah. So my body absolutely is strongly distinguishing processed chemicals now.
Yeah, I need to step it up a bit and get there. I think that would be beneficial for my mom too, because when I was kind of going through the motion of clearing everything out, I kind of got there. It's not something that I did overnight, but like every once in a while you go back and you'll try to have a fry from somewhere or like, a soda and that, or even ice cream. I've noticed here recently, I try to go to Baskin Robbins and get one of those clown ice cream. My body was like, no, I don't want this. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So that resonates. It really does.
Yeah. You can taste it in there. So I'm going to go back to you now with your podcast that you started. The thing that I love is how many people quickly gravitated towards it because it's just a strong, and I would love to get your take on, part of this podcast is the shift, right? We're coming into this shift. And how you're saying, that TikTok video went viral very quickly.
Yeah.
I would love to get your take on the shift that you are seeing from your perspective.
Oh man, it's so interesting. What I've noticed was most of the people that I've been talking to, there is a spiritual shift. There is a massive spiritual shift because it seems like most of these people that I've talked to quite a few, not everybody wants to come on a podcast and talk about this. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm so raw about, I don't hold any punches. I am raw and I'm as raw as I'm going to get so that other people will feel comfortable to do the same thing. Cause that's how you heal, but the amount of people that I have spoke to, it seems as though, around 2018, 2019, 2020, around the same time that I had my spiritual awakening or whatever that is, walk in, I'm hearing this is happening it was all around the same time. People just were feeling compelled to come off of whatever it is that they're on and clean their act up, so I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking me, but to me, it seems like, yes, all around the same, something shifted energetically, consciously. We all it was definitely a collective thing. And what else I've noticed is that the ones that it's almost like the strongest ones had the hardest time, if that makes sense. Like they were challenged. You get starseed vibes for sure. They may not know, they may not understand. And that's cool. Right. But you get those vibes and like you can feel, what they're here, what, you know what I mean? And it seems like those are those were the ones that were challenged the most, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of the, just my opinion, some of the starseed, I don't know why I want to use the word protocol, but I guess I'm going to do it. We're strong personalities.
Right.
We're strong personalities. And that can go like, take it or leave it. Right. You know what I mean? Like it can go to two extremes, but, yeah, we're very, like go big or go home is a common one.
Yeah.
I know that
about that.
that has literally been my own personal motto for like 40 years.
I love that.
Sometimes to my absolute detriment. So yeah, because, for the listeners at home, another common starseed trait is that we're interested in a lot of things. And so we're kind of prone to have hobbies.
Oh yeah.
And I have absolutely gone big or go home on some things, and they are just in storage now.
That's okay. I don't know if you're referring to this, but I went down this making tumblers, like just trying to tap into my creativity and figure out who I am. Ended up spending a lot more money making tumblers and pyramids and didn't really, I don't know if that's what you mean.
I decided like randomly for 2 weeks, I decided that I was going to do leather works, and I wanted to like burn things into leather and like names and presses and everything. And I spent a significant time at my Hobby Lobby and Michael's.
Yep.
Buying all of the equipment. I mean,
Yeah.
everything. I don't know. I don't know why I'm even.
I love Hobby Lobby. I spent so much money there and ended up it wasn't a thing. It was just for me, I guess. So.
I didn't even make one thing. I have all of the top level gear to like go to a craft show, and I could sell leather braids and stuff like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. So past life probably came through for like 14 days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So to get back to topic, okay, I'm going to talk about this shift again. So energetically, what we're seeing is because all of, and I mentioned that we're actually kind of more at 4D, like the more that we're increasing our frequency and we're increasing through these energy waves, we are, so many, I mean, I'm sure the listeners have heard of the Great Awakening, right? So it's just been thrown around a lot. But what it is just the remembrance. And as our physical bodies are literally changing. And I don't know how many people are actually really ready to do that deep dive. But they are physically changing. I was actually just talking to my husband yesterday about how, because we've jumped multiple timelines. So I'm sure all of y'all have heard of Mandela's, right? I mean, our organs are literally in different places.
That is so fascinating that you just said that. And I just want to chime in, and I hope you don't mind. I don't know if you've seen, so recently I've been tumbling. I've been posting my tumbling. And the reason that I do that is because when I was 16, I was really stepping into my power. I was really stepping into my potential, and my whole world got shook. And I mean, I could have went far as a gymnast, as a cheerleader. And I told myself I would never lose that. And now I'm feeling so compelled to get it all back. So that's fascinating. And it's funny because I went that first day back and I was flipping around as if I have been doing it. And my body was like, girl, what are you doing? You got to take it easy. So that's so fascinating that you're saying that. I mean, I understand that we're having some changes, but it's funny. I catch myself wanting to do things like in my room the other day, I wanted to bridge up. And my heart was like, let's go. My body was like, relax. We can't do that yet. We got to get there, girl. Pump the brakes. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, muscle memory. I've seen your photos. You are in top shape, and you are an avid athlete. I'm just gonna call it an athlete because you work out all the time.
It's
but
what I
yeah,
have to do. It's what I have to do instead of it. It is my addiction now, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, and we're choosing we're swapping something that was negative in for a positive, right? So, I mean, and that's kind of the struggle, but it's also the journey. I don't like using the struggle. It's the journey of shifting. An addictive personality is going to have an addictive personality, but intuitively choosing things that are good for you. And so essentially learning how to harness and make it a positive.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm out there, you know, Sherry told me that I channel energy through movement. I certainly feel that, because sometimes when it's like I'm scared of my own self, because I know how powerful I am and I know what I can do, but there's a little bit of, there's fear there. You know, I was actually jumping with this little boy. He happened to be there at the same time that I was there. And you're so courageous. He was teaching me how to do, like, he was encouraging me to do more. And I was like, it's incredible what an individual will do when they're just around like another child or just somebody else that, you know, it was really cool.
I love that. I love that. Children absolutely inspire us.
Oh, yeah.
And their energy is very infectious, and they're a beautiful thing. And, you know, so many of us have that mission, you know, save the children,
Yeah.
because of what's been going on with them. And that's another part of the awakening, right? Is everything that was concealed is coming up, and it is to change. It's to not change, well, change how it's been, but it is to protect that innocence of youth, that innocence of children, because they are, you know, the closest thing to source when they first come in, right? I mean, that beautiful spark, that beautiful light, we can all feel it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's our job as, I like to just call us Terrans. I really actually don't really resonate with humans. I like just Terrans. It's, you know, to protect them. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and it's the mission. My mind just went blank, and there was something else I was wanting to talk about.
I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. I'm gonna have to watch this back and edit this out, because it literally went, well, I mean, and this is a part of it.
That's okay. That happens to me.
This is happening to so many people, where they just go, whoop,
Yep.
because our minds are changing. The way that we recall memories are changing, because we're not going to be in that state anymore where we need to recall from a memory bank.
Yeah.
We are shifting into this moment of just knowingness. I just know.
Right.
And so I know that for a really long time, a lot of people have been afraid, like, do I have like early onset dementia? I cannot tell you how many people I've spoken to.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't recall just very simple things, but then the next day they can recall everything. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what my mom has been worried about that. And I said, Mom, I don't retain anything. I don't retain anything anymore. It's nothing to be worried about. I don't know if she understands exactly what's going on, but I'm definitely here to ground her and remind her, you're not losing your marbles. I promise.
yeah. I mean, yeah, there's so many of us are, and it's just like, it just becomes this black void, and I'm just waiting for some type of a train of thought to come back in again. But that also goes into that intuition. It's a trust fall into the intuition, and knowing that when you need it, it's just that knowingness is going to be there.
I notice too, when I lose my train of thought on something, especially if I'm like on a show, if I just keep talking, it'll come back to me a lot of times, just in a probably random time, but it does. So
it's so funny. They're giving me, I don't know why. I'm visual. So I work in metaphors, and spirit works with me in metaphors. And they've been for the past like 3 days. All my metaphors are based around trains. And I know, right? So there's definitely a message within that. But yeah, they were just telling me, like, just talk enough and it will just chuck it.
Yeah.
Little train of thought. But yes. So is there any piece of advice that you would like parting pieces of advice that you would like to give anyone?
Yeah. If you have a family member or know anybody that is struggling in addiction, you know, there is what I've been also experiencing with my mom is you know, I know it can be challenging, but harping on them is not going to help. You know, enabling them is not going to help them either, but trying to have some understanding and compassion if they are willing to want to help themselves. just loving them is what's going to help them. You know, I deal with my mom and medications and things, and I would get so triggered because of my own battles. And I finally just surrendered, you know, and I'm like, even if she does get a little loopy one day, like what she's dealing with and the pain that she's dealing with, like, I don't understand that. And I really just have to pick and choose my battles. So I have just completely surrendered and just loved and accepted her for her experience and what we are going through and what we are dealing with. And it has shifted everything with us. Yeah. And I'm going to get emotional. This just happened because I'm going through my own stuff and I'm with her with, you know what I mean? My own battles with her, with all of it. And there are times where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, you know, but something helped me. I think it's my grandfather. I think he's really helping me out a lot, but something helped me just kind of surrender. And that's my advice. You know, I understand that you can't enable an individual that doesn't want to help themselves, but if they truly, genuinely want to help themselves, you love them and we got to try to shift the judgment on addiction, because a lot of people out here, their addiction, just like me, started in a doctor's office. Yes. When I was a teenager, I used because I was trying to mask the trauma, mask the pain. But when I had my son and I was prescribed, and I cleaned up my act, but when I had my son and I was prescribed that Vicodin and I had a C-section, and I took that Vicodin, I could take care of my son. I could clean up. I had a C-section. I should have been not doing those things, but I felt like I found the solution to the problem. So where am I going with this? The addiction started in a doctor's office, and a lot of people's did. So, and a lot of people who their addiction started with the pain pills in the doctor's office are now strung out on heroin. And not because people don't understand the withdrawal. They don't understand this opioid epidemic that has been pushed on the masses. And so I just want us to try to start shifting the perspective on addiction and stop with the judgment. That's not going to help us heal and move on. People judging is not going to help. It's going to make us judge ourselves, not want to be able to talk about it. And then how do we heal? So, yeah.
You know, I've always said, you know, glass houses, people who live in glass houses, right? The movie, I believe it's called Saving Ben. Julia Roberts starred in it. And I think that movie beautifully showed the effects of how addiction starts in a family and then how it affects, like it ripples out, how it ripples out. And her family dealt with a lot of judgment in that movie. And all of it started in that movie. He had an accident when he was in high school, a snow skiing. He went on a school trip on snow skiing. Wow. And he had an accident. I don't know I can't remember if he broke his leg, but the doctor prescribed him pain meds.
Yep.
And that's where all of it started.
Yep.
And yeah, in my opinion, that movie really showcased pretty beautifully, like what's going on in neighborhoods around this entire country.
Oh yeah.
Right now. And how quickly and easily it can happen. And there is no judgment, you know, on the outside. They were a very loving home, loving family, well-to-do family, you know, as somebody who you would think they have no issues. They have no problems. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why I will always speak, because when you see me, it's funny because now, like when I went out and worked and stuff, they were like, "Oh my, what? Like that was I'm like, yes, that was my life." And I'm gonna stand in that power, because I want people to see, like, you literally can come back from complete hell, you know. And maybe if people see, it can literally just happen to anyone. I will always speak raw and real truth, so it will help pave the way for others to be able to do the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember a photo went viral a few weeks ago, and you know how they've been showing the videos of some of these inner cities where the drug addicts look like zombies, right? Yeah. Like everyone's there. You've seen those.
Yep.
And in one of them, it was a video, and then they like screenshotted a photo, and the one woman who was completely bent over while standing, but completely bent over, clearly on drugs. She was in high-end sneakers, her head to toe Lulu clothes. I mean, nails done, hair. you can tell that this woman came from a very wealthy suburb and came into the city for her fix, and just, it took her.
Yeah.
So yeah. Glass house.
I hate those videos because here I am, like, I want to throw a wrench in big pharma. I want to bring it down. I'm going to change all of this. And then I see those videos and I'm like, damn it, I'm really up against some wild shit. But I just feel like, excuse my French, I apologize, but I just feel like if you get enough people, I mean, there's enough people that are stuck on Suboxone right now. I mean, it's millions, it's not just thousands. So, you know, and I've already rallied like 700. How could we not at least put a dent in it if you get enough people to understand? And that's why, like yesterday, I spoke on my podcast and just started speaking about everything I've been dealing with my mother, with Big Pharma, all of it. I was like, I don't even care. I'm just gonna, because it helps me. Somebody listens to it, great. If not, whatever, but I'm just going to keep doing this. And, you know, at some point maybe it'll make a change. Maybe people will understand, you know, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for stepping into that work. Thank you for having a strong, fearless voice for it, because that really is what it takes. I mean, I think a lot of the things going on around the world would go away pretty quickly if more people stepped into their voice.
Oh, yeah.
And spoke fearlessly. So those who do in this current culture, current society where so many people are censored and shut down, I applaud you and thank you for being that courageous voice in the void. We're just going to call it the void right now. So thank you. And thank you for sharing your story and how your intuition helped you shift and navigate this change, and that there's complete health on the other side of it.
That's right. So what did you say before the show started? And then you said, let's get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Is that what you said?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. We have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable conversations, because again, it goes back to the whole glass house situation. Like, why we're not throwing stones.
No,
we're not throwing stones. We're coming from our heart space. We're coming from this loving place. And we all have journeys, we all have stories, and at the end of it, we're all Terran. We're all just here to love and help, to love and grow, and all that we ever want to do is just be seen and heard.
I love that. Well, thank you for the work you do too, Abby. You know, you're very grounding, so thank you too. It was an honor to be on here. I thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How can everybody reach you? They want to follow you. Where's the best place to catch your podcast at?
So I'm on YouTube. I need to get Rumble because I'm kind of speaking a little bit. I keep using words that I know will probably end up getting brought down. So I'm going to get on Rumble, but YouTube, it's Unveiling Addiction. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all social media platforms. I need to get on X. But at Chasity Munoz, it's my name. And then on Instagram, it's Chassie, CHASSIE. So
okay,
you can find me there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next shift coming up.